first off, you're going to find yourself a jar with a nice tight fitting lid. Now, the herbs that I've chosen for this tincture are horehound. Now, horehound is an expectorant, a disinfectant, a decongestant. It also helps with asthma, bronchitis, loss of appetite, painful menstruation, coughs. It also can reduce pain. Now, one thing about this herb too is you do not want to use it during pregnancy. So we're going to start with this. Now, when you make a tincture, what you're actually doing is extracting the chemical constituents of the herb using either alcohol, which is the most common and most effective thing to use. You can also use vinegar or a vegetable glycerin. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to do, if you're using a dried herb, you're going to use a 1:5 ratio, 1 part herb, 5 parts alcohol. If you're using a fresh herb, you're going to use 1 part herb and 2 to 3 parts alcohol. So we will start with putting this in the jar. And we want to fill it up about 1/5 of the way. Do just a little more. Now, I've also chosen to use another herb, and this herb I actually pulled fresh from my garden, and this is peppermint. Now, peppermint will help relieve nausea and gas. It also reduces the pain of a headache, and so when you have a cold, if you're real stuffy, a lot of times you have a headache, so I was hoping this would help. Not only that, horehound can be very bitter, and so I'm hoping that the peppermint will help with the taste. Now, the Latin name for the horehound I am using is Maribum vulgar. And the peppermint is Mentha piperata. So we've got our herbs in the jar, and now we're just going to top it off with some nice 100 proof vodka. Who doesn't like vodka? Now, make sure that your jar is clean and dry. We don't want any water in here. Now, making a tincture can be a long process. What you're actually going to do is set it somewhere warm, not in direct sunlight, and you're going to shake it 2 to 3 times a day. And depending upon the amount of alcohol or the percentage of your alcohol and your herbs, you're going to let this sit anywhere. I like to do them from 4 to 6 weeks. So there you have it, the start of our tincture. Now, I am going to be placing mine on my windowsill above my kitchen sink. That way it is in a warm spot, and it's also in a spot where I'm going to remember to shake it because I come to the kitchen sink fairly often. And then once this tincture is done, you can take anywhere from 3 to 6 milliliters 1 to 3 times a day. Now I'm going to finish a tincture that I started on May 17th. And what this tincture is, it's actually a tincture to help with the symptoms and side effects of menopause. So this contains 2 parts red clover, which is Trifolium pretense, 1 part lemon balm top, which is Melissa officinalis, and 1 part motherwort leaf, which is Leonardus cardiac, and 1 part sage leaf, which is Salvia officinalis. And this is obviously, well, it's been sitting since May. Now, the red clover contains phytoestrogens and isoflavones that help with hot flashes, mood swings, and night sweats. The lemon balm helps calm nerves, depression, insomnia, and painful menstruation. The motherwort helps painful menstrual cramps and helps to balance hormones. And the sage is a hormonal stimulant, reduces sweating, and calms nerves. Now, sage, it does reduce sweating. You definitely do not want to take a lot of sage when you are breastfeeding or lactating because it will actually start to dry up your milk. Now this is another tincture that you do not want to use when you're pregnant. However, I don't think most women go through menopause and are pregnant at the same time, so you're probably pretty safe if you need this. So what we're going to do is we're going to strain this. And this has been up in my windowsill. Now, when you strain this, you want to make sure that you get all of those solids out, because if you don't, that can cause mold and mildew later on. Now, an alcohol tincture, when stored properly, can be saved indefinitely. You just want to keep it in a dark, cool place. So I'm going to get as much of the herbs in there as I can. Then I'm going to give it a nice little squeeze to get all that goodness out of there. Now, I have a best friend that I actually made this for. And what I did is I took the same ratio of herbs and I made her an infusion mixture. And an infusion is basically a tea. You just steep it longer to get it stronger. So she's been using this as the tea since May, and she swears by it. And she's been a wonderful guinea pig for me. She even went off it for a while to see what would happen, and she said it was awful. So the only thing about the tea is it can be a little inconvenient carting it around. It's also, obviously, if you're drinking 3 to 4 cups of tea in a day, you're having to go to the bathroom a lot. So she's very excited about getting this tincture. Now the tincture, she'll only have to take 1/4 to 1/2 teaspoon a day. And then she'll take it for 5 to 6 days, discontinue it for a couple of days, and then repeat the cycle as she needs. So I have this great little dropper glass. I actually got these off of Amazon, which is my go-to store. Now, I'm going to actually strain these an additional, just to make sure we get all of those solids out. So, I'm going to fill up this little bottle for her. And then I'll put the rest in a clean jar, because once again, we don't want any of those solids in there. And I'm making a mess, but that's okay. Now make sure also that you label everything. I like to put the dates. I also like to put the dates, what it is, and the ingredients. Oop, and there I am making a mess again. So that guy's full. And oh, and there's another thing. Obviously I'm making a big mess. It's good to label after you've poured. Otherwise, the mess can just wipe your label off. Now I'm using cheesecloth along with the strainer. This will get a nice second strain, which, as you can see, we did a great job. There's hardly anything in there. And there you have it. That's how to make a tincture and how to finish a tincture. Have a great day, and I hope you enjoy. Those were my references. And on a side note, these herbs that are left over, I'm actually going to throw in my compost. And then one thing that I forgot earlier is when you go to take the tincture, whatever dosage, you can mix it with tea, water, juice, whatever you like, so that you're not actually taking that alcohol in just straight. So anyway, have a good day again, and thank you for watching.